Hello, good evening. Lovely to see you all. Tonight I'm going to talk on how to consciously raise your vibration. So I'm going to spend about 10 minutes, and it is a big topic, could talk on it for a few hours. So I'm going to summarize in 10 minutes. And then I want to focus in on some work that looks at why lifting our vibration helps the whole, the greater good, if you like. And there's some quite interesting figures to look at there. So how to consciously raise your vibration. What is your vibration? So your vibration is the subtle energy that surrounds your body. It's like an electromagnetic field. It's a combination of the energy that comes out from each of the chakras, but especially from your heart, from your mind. It's your subtle energy. So it's like your energy signature, if you like. It's the energy people feel when they come in contact with you. They can sense if you have an open heart. They can sense if there's something troubling you. They can sense if there's something out of sorts with you. So this is our vibration, and the higher our vibration, the more we are connected to our truth, to that higher self within us, to our soul, and physically the stronger our immune system. We tend to have a resilience to stress when our vibration is high, and we tend to have a resilience to negative energy environments and people who drain our energy. That's a whole nother topic and we looked at that a few weeks ago when we looked at energy and health, and the effects of the dynamics between people with respect to energy, people taking your energy, not setting your boundaries so that you maintain a good energy field, a good strong energy field. So today I want to focus a little bit more on what can you consciously do to keep a high vibration, because it is really important that you do keep a high vibration. And that if you notice it's dropped or it's dropping, or an environment or a situation has depleted your energy, that you know what to do to get it back again. Okay, one of the ways that, one of the simplest ways, if you, for example, want to quite quickly raise your vibration, is to go out in nature and just connect with the beauty in nature. So if you start just really seeing the trees, seeing the flowers, hearing the birds, so all of your senses are really open and you start to see the beauty in nature. The more that you do this, you open up your energy, and you will find that what you're seeing becomes more vivid, more vital, becomes more beautiful. And that is an indication that you are raising your vibration. So just going out and sitting in your garden, just going for a walk in the woods or by the river, or somewhere where you can connect with beauty. You can do the same with a picture. You can do the same with music. Anything that touches that part of your soul that resonates with beauty. And what you can do, and when you're out walking in nature, be in the moment. So instead of walking along and thinking about what you were thinking about and planning what's happening for your day, be where you are. So really connect with where you are, and that raises your vibration. So our vibration, one of the things that probably keeps a high, one of the things that really helps to keep and maintain a high vibration is when we live harmlessly. And this resonates with many Buddhist teachings. So when you have right intention, right thought, and right action. So when those intentions from your heart, those thoughts in your mind, and those actions every day are harmless, this is when you are really resonating with a high vibrational energy. When you come to a point where you feel an emotional energy that is negative, that is very depleting, welling up inside of you, and you let it pass, you let it go, you let it come into your mind, the thoughts come into your mind, but you let them go, you don't hold that state. And if you recognize that you have really been triggered emotionally and you can feel your energy dropping, you go and do something to shift that energy. And this is what I teach in yoga. So you might go and do some energy block release work with your yoga. You might go outside in nature. You might go and do some Tai Chi, some Qigong, anything that works on a vibrational energy level. Meditation raises your vibration, and this is one of the benefits of when meditation becomes an everyday part of your life, because it means that each day, even if during the day that vibration is lifting, you are lifting it back up again by that constant practice of meditation. So anything that takes you into the place of the silent watcher, anything where you are simply observing, you are stepping back from maybe the thoughts in your mind in meditation, or if you're walking out in nature, you're stepping back from your mind and you're connecting to what is. This raises your vibration. It's one of the reasons that children have a much higher vibration often than adults, because they are very naturally in the moment. They connect with their environment. They don't tend to worry about the past so much or worry about the future. In fact, they often have no awareness when they're quite young of the future or the past. They're very much doing what they're doing. And this is one of the reasons they have such high vitality. When you work from your heart, you raise your vibration. So any heart-given service, compassion, anything you do for others with no thought for yourself, from a very altruistic way, with no resentment. It's not that you're saying yes and you want to say no, you're just saying, yeah, absolutely, wholeheartedly. And people sense the difference in that vibration. If I say yes because I feel like I should, and I won't be a nice person if I don't, and I feel a bit coerced, and there's a real difference in my energy to if I say yes, sure, absolutely, I'd love to do that. And we sense that essence of truth, if you like. So staying grounded really helps to keep your vibration high. So staying in connection with the earth. If you can't get out into the earth, there's lots of exercises you can do in Qigong, especially in yoga and Tai Chi, to ground your energy. Anything that you feel like you're connecting with the earth. Using your discrimination in your mental, visual, and audio diet. Okay, so what you allow to come in through your senses affects your energy. Watch the 10 o'clock news every night and you will go to bed with depleted energy. The news, the mass media and the news are not good for your energy. You can dip in and dip out. Use your discretion and select what you allow yourself to be exposed to. So think of your energy as precious. So what sort of films do you watch? What sort of things do you read? These are all going to affect your vibrational energy. If you're reading some beautiful sacred text, you're reading some poems of Rumi, you're reading Bhagavad Gita, you're reading the Bible, you're reading any of the sacred ancient wisdom teachings, or anything that is inspiring, a story that really gets to you and is really uplifting, these all raise your vibration. It's why poetry is so lifts our heart. Anything that really opens the heart and lifts your heart, lifts your vibration. You can energize your home. If you feel like the energy in your home is getting stagnant, or you know there's some negative energy from conflict and anger, you can open all the windows. You can just ask your home, let anything not of the light be gone. Open up the doors and windows. Cleaning your home changes the vibrational energy. So just I don't know if you've noticed, you can hoover with the intention that you're not just hoovering up dust and dirt, you're actually cleansing the energy of your home. And as you do so, you often cleanse your own energy. That's, those of you who don't like cleaning, try it. If you're feeling upset, you're feeling a bit out of sorts, clean your home, tidy up a room, sort out an environment's energy, and it will sort out your energy. It's one of the reasons when people declutter, they just feel so much more energized. Reduce the chemicals in your home. On this, you can Google this. I could do a whole nother talk on this. The chemicals that are coming into your body, the chemicals you're using in cleaning, the environment, the chemical environment that you're living in. You really need to look at that, because that will affect your energy. You need to look at the electromagnetic radiation in your home. It's difficult now with Wi-Fi, 4G, and these frequencies that are around us all the time, but you can offset a lot of that energy with crystals, okay, with magnets that you might wear on your person. You can have, like around my home, I have crystals and rocks, just changing the energy, keeping that energy positive, reducing the electromagnetic radiation that's coming into our bodies. You can select high vibrational foods and drinks. So anything that's still living has a higher vibrational energy. Anything that is organic has a higher vibrational energy. The sooner food gets from sort of being picked or cultivated to your table has a higher vibrational energy. The less that it's processed and cooked has a higher vibrational energy. And food prepared with love has a higher vibrational energy. Some of the other things, like I mentioned, there are a lot of therapies that work to improve your vibrational energy. So any kind of therapy that works on your energy, it could be a massage, it could be something like Reiki, or any kind of energy healing modality. Things like homeopathy works on your vibrational energy. Herbs work in healing on your vibrational energy. There's lots of energy medicine, tuning forks and sound vibration. Music works on your vibrational energy. You try, if you're if you're really down, put on just the most magical piece of music and you just can't stay down. Moving your body, dancing, where you feel free, where there's a freedom of expression, raises your vibrational energy. Anything creative where you are expressing your truth and who you are raises your vibrational energy. Hopefully you're starting to get an idea, and you probably intuitively know these things anyway. Laughing, singing, chanting raise your vibrational energy. Conscious breathing, deep yogic breathing raises your vibrational energy. Cleansing with water, cleansing your body, cleanses your energy field, raises your vibrational energy. Going to places where land meets the water, like at the sea or the side of a lake or a river, raises your vibrational energy. I'm just going to put a diagram up now that I will give you the opportunity. I can send this diagram to you. See if I've got it going the right way. Okay, hopefully you can read that. This is just giving you an idea. It's just a sort of a representation of your vibrational energy. So the thing probably that raises your vibrational energy the most is when you're true to yourself. When you are connected with your highest self, with your soul, when you are able to express your truth and who you are, when, like I said, there is harmlessness, okay? And if you're constantly, you're awake and you're aware. And so if you find that, say you're in an environment that depletes your energy, so for me, an energy environment I know that depletes my energy, within an hour I will be completely wiped out. If I go shopping in an area where I'm in artificial lighting and artificial heating. So shopping, if I'm able to go outside in between going into shops where I don't like the environment, is much better. But if I were to go to a big mall or something, really, really bad for my energy. I get to the stage quite quickly where I can't think. I feel quite distressed. I feel quite despondent. I can't make a decision. Sometimes I can barely get myself out of there and get myself home. So I have quite sensitive energy to that environment. Shopping at Christmas when everyone's getting a bit stressed and frenetic, I don't cope well at all. So I wouldn't go into that environment, or if I had to go into that environment, I would go in and out, no more than an hour. And then on the way home, or when I get home, I would have a shower, or I'd go out in my garden. I would do some yoga. I would do some deep breathing. I would do something to raise my energy vibration again, so that I'm keeping a high vibrational energy. Now, one of the most difficult things is when you're living in an environment in which there is conflict, and it could be just a low residue of conflict all the time, or you're working in an environment where people are unhappy or morale is low, people are stressed, because this just eats away at your vibrational energy all the time. And so this is where you need to be really careful. You might, don't work through your lunch break. Get outside at lunch break. Go and connect with nature at lunchtime. Don't stay long hours. If you need to still work, can you take it home? Can you go home? Have a shower when you get home. Get yourself some exercise. Do yourself some yoga. You know, you can manage difficult energy environments. Is there anything you can do? Sometimes we are working or with someone who's very angry all the time, or is a very negative person. And sometimes we just have to, we have to set a boundary and say, I'm not able to deal with that person at the moment. And that's okay. The next thing I want to talk about is a very interesting book. I don't know if you can see that. It's called Power versus Force by David R. Hawkins, The Hidden Determinants of Human Behavior. And what this very clever man did was he did a study over, I think it was about 20 years. And what he wanted to do was map human consciousness. So the level of your vibration and the level of your consciousness, the amount of consciousness that you're able to bring through, are one and the same. So the more self-aware you are, the more in touch with your soul you are, the higher your vibration, the more consciousness we would say that you have. The more healing you've done to dip into your unconscious issues, to bring them into your consciousness, the more consciousness you have, the higher your vibrational energy. So what David Hawkins wanted to do was to do an anatomy of consciousness. So I think it was between 1965 and 1994, he tested thousands and thousands of people to try and almost form a gradation of human consciousness. And he gave these levels numbers. There's a lot of complicated mathematics goes into this, which I'm not going into. He used kinesthetic muscle testing to determine whether an answer to a question was truth or not truth, and tested thousands of people, large numbers, all nationalities, ethnicities, religions, all ages, and lots of different geographical locations, because he wanted to get enough data to be able to make some generalizations about human consciousness. And he was looking at the difference between power and force. And the idea is that power is something that we experience from an inner awareness, so our sort of inner power. It is a positive energy that attracts, versus force, which is more of an ego outer thing that we use our senses. And if you like force, we tend to be repelled by force. So when someone is a very charismatic leader, for example, they and you can sense that what they're talking about is truth, and it's coming from an inner conviction and an integrity and our open heart, we're really attracted to that energy. When we feel like we're being forced or controlled or manipulated, we sense that. And it might be a leader, they might still be very charismatic, but we sense that's not the same as power. So you can read, I mean, there's chapters and chapters in this book, all different aspects of society and applying the difference, looking at Churchill's leadership compared to Hitler's leadership, that sort of thing. It's a very interesting book. But the part that I want to focus on today, see if I can get the, okay, this, after all these tests using kinesthetic muscle testing is when, I don't know if you've ever done it with therapists, you have your arm up and someone pushes down on your arm. Now, if you are resonating with truth, you can hold your arm. If that person asks something that isn't true, or sometimes it's used in, say, allergy testing, they place a substance in your aura that you are allergic to, you cannot. The person will push down on your arm and you cannot hold it up. It's a verified method that cuts across all mental paradigms, all, you can't fake it if you like, because it's working at an unconscious level. So this map of consciousness, if you have a look on your screen, he mapped from right down at a value of 20, shame, going up through guilt and blame, apathy, hopelessness, despair at 50, tragic grief, regret at 75, fear, anxiety, withdrawal, we're around the 100 mark, disappointed, craving, feeling enslaved, around 125. So hate and aggression and anger were at about 150. So 200 was, you see the arrows switch, 200 was about the point that he found there was a switch. And these levels relate to the chakras. So if you like, 200 was below the chakras, below the midline, and above 200 were the higher centers, the higher chakras. So it was courage, which we find when we move from the Manipura chakra up into the heart chakra. Courage was at that pivotal point, if you like. And then we start moving up into some of the higher levels of consciousness. So we have there when someone's feeling trust, and then we go up into hope, optimism, acceptance and forgiveness. If someone is resonating around 350, 400, they're wise, they're understanding, pure reason. 500 is where someone is resonating with unconditional love. So love that there's nothing you can do to interfere with that love. They will love you regardless of whether you love them back. A divine love comes from an open heart. You see serenity and feeling at one, feeling joy is up there at 540. A resonance or a vibration of about 600. We've got peace, bliss, feelings of illumination. So starting to really understand some big picture. right up to between 700 and 1,000, we have what we would call pure consciousness, where a person has become enlightened, a fully realized being, all their chakras are open. They don't just know that all is one from an intellectual point of view, they experience and live that in their everyday life. So I just want to look now. So we've got this map of consciousness. Now, what he would say is that most people, most of us could probably lift up into those higher vibrations, but can we hold and maintain and live our life from those higher vibrations? And that is the real question. So what I want to, he worked out, it's a logarithmic scale, which I don't remember much of my maths, but I know that a logarithmic scale means that things don't just go up in a straight line, they go up sort of increments much more than that each time. So the difference here between a 250 and a 310 is a big shift. So the idea is, on our spiritual path, as we develop more consciousness, as we tackle the challenges in our life, as we raise our vibration, as we live harmlessly in touch with our soul, we, through our lives, gradually raise our level of consciousness that we maintain most of the time. I'm sure everybody drops down, but how long do they drop down for, and how quickly do they pull themselves back up? And this is what I was talking about, recognizing what's happened to your energy and to your vibration. So he said only about 15% of the population is above the critical consciousness level of 200. So that doesn't sound too good, does it? So 85% of the population are actually mostly operating down below 200, in the grief and the anger and the fear and the despair and the hate and the scorn, and these lower vibrations, if you like. But there is 15% who are moving up and who are working in these higher levels. That might sound a bit depressing, except that collective power of that 15% are able to hold and lift the vibration of the other 85%. And this is where anyone who is working with any kind of spiritual understanding or awareness has a responsibility to lift your own vibration, not just for your own sake and your own health, but for the sake of all. Because it's so powerful in lifting the vibration of everyone who comes in contact with you. And I'm going to show you some other figures that it lifts the vibration. You'll be surprised. So if we look down here, so it said 15% are working above that critical level of 200 and 85% below. But because it's a logarithmic scale, it says a single avatar at a consciousness level of 1,000 can and does, in fact, totally counterbalance the collective negativity of all of mankind. So this is where, if you sort of look back on history and look at the various avatars that have come to help humanity through periods of history, maybe you understand how one being can make such a difference. And they don't even have to be preaching or teaching to a whole lot of people to enlighten and illumine those people's understandings. They just have to be present, incarnation on the earth. So he said at the original writing of this book, which I think was in about 95, there were 12 people on the planet who calibrated over 600. This is maintaining that level. And and there were only 6 between 600 and 700, 1 between 7 and 800, etc. I would say now that because we have, even in my lifetime, and certainly in the last 15 years, the last 5 years, we've seen a huge lift in the general consciousness of humankind. And I believe that this pandemic, this virus we're going through now, is creating a mass increase in consciousness. And so I would say that there are probably more individuals vibrating at higher levels now than there ever have been in history. And that part of what's going to happen, especially in the next 5 years, which are quite critical time that we're living in, is we're going to get even more people lifting up, and groups of people lifting up into higher vibrations to pull humanity through this major time of change and transformation that we are going through. It's begun. We're going through now. So just look at some of these figures here, and this might help you to realize what happens when you lift your vibration. So if you lift up, so one individual at, say, level 300, and level 300, if I just remind you, was working in hope, inspiration, a willingness and optimism, a positive intention, working towards acceptance and forgiveness and transcendence of negative emotions, counterbalances 90,000 individuals below the level of 200. So if you could move your vibration up to 400, say, where you're becoming wise, understanding, you're starting to reason with your higher mind. We talked about that a few weeks ago. It's 400,000 individuals that you're lifting their vibrational level. So someone resonating at 500, and 500 was loving, benevolence, unconditional love and compassion for those immediately around you in your soul incarnation group, and for wider mankind. 750,000 people that you just being on the planet, your energy vibration could make a positive difference too. So if you're getting up to 600, which is where someone is maintaining, this might be, say, some Buddhist monks, this is, you know, we're talking Dalai Lama, we're talking people who maintain a level of peace, bliss, illumination, feeling one with all, 10 million individuals. So one person at level 700, 70 million. So you can see when if you get 12 individuals at level 700, and this is just 12 people and amongst the whole population of the world, that is equivalent, because of this logarithmic scale, to one avatar at 1,000. So maybe this will just give you something to think about in terms of vibrational energy. And in terms also of, you don't just lift your vibration for your benefit, you lift it for the benefit of all. So, you know, when we are involved in practices like this group meditation, we are helping, because we're bringing our energies together. Us as a group has a higher vibration than any of us can maintain on our own. And this is partly why these group meditations are so powerful, and there are so many of them going on around the world. So you've probably got quite a few questions about that. If you could just keep a hold of those questions until after the group meditation and after we've stopped to clap for the NHS carers, we'll come back, and if you've got any comments or questions or discussion, we can look at those then. So I want to now move into the group meditation. And I want to begin by bringing our heart energies together. Okay, so remember, we're bringing all of our vibrations, our we're lifting up just by saying an affirmation like this. We are lifting our vibration. We're coming into our heart, and our intention is pure. And our intention is an affirmation of love. And this is the highest divine love. So get yourself comfortable, back reasonably upright, feet on the floor. And just let everything that I've been talking about go for now. And just feel that you have arrived in the room. So this is where we're tuning into our senses. We're coming into the present moment. So I want you to feel like you're growing roots down through your feet or through your base chakra, right down through whatever building you're in, down into the earth under the building. So you're connecting to that high vibrational energy that comes from our Mother Earth. So just send those roots down. Now I want you to just tune into your senses. We're going to tune into the sense of feeling. So I just want you to feel your body sitting on the chair. Be aware of the clothes on your skin. And now gently tune into your sense of hearing and just allow sounds to come in. We're tuning into this moment, allowing the sounds to be as they are. Lovely. And I want you to imagine that you're connecting with everybody in this group meditation, everyone who joins us later on the recording on YouTube, and all the other groups throughout the world who are meditating as groups, lifting the vibration of all. And with that beautiful heart intention, we're going to repeat this affirmation of love. So say it out loud or quietly inside, but we'll say it together. In the center of all love I stand. From that center I, the soul, will outward move. From that center I, the one who serves, will work. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad in my heart, through my group, and throughout the world. Now gently close your eyes. And take that awareness to your breath. Just gently watching the breath come into your body, watching the breath leave. With each breath, allow your body to relax and your breathing to become a little deeper. With your mind, just keep a gentle focus on the breath. If your mind is distracted, as soon as you notice, just come back to the breath and come back without any judgment or criticism. The important thing is coming back. And just feel the breath drawing you down inward to connect to a quiet place inside. Now, as you breathe in, I want you to imagine you're breathing in a beautiful white light, cleansing and healing, filling your whole being with beautiful blessings. It's a high vibrational energy that you are breathing in. And as you breathe out, you're breathing out any mental busyness, any agitation, any lower vibrational energy in the form of black smoke. So breathe in this beautiful white light. Breathe out the black smoke. Whenever your mind is distracted, just come back to breathing in the white light, breathing out the black smoke, and just maintain this visual image with your breath. And now just allow that visual image to fade. I want you to bring your focus to the center of your chest, into your heart center. I want you to imagine as you breathe in, you're drawing down a beautiful light down through the crown of your head and filling this heart center. So the heart center acts like a vessel to receive this light. Now the light can be pure white light, it can be golden light, or it can be a beautiful purple, mauve, violet light, whichever resonates with you. Draw the light down into your heart. And then let the heart be the distribution center for the rest of your body. So this light starts to fill all the other energy centers or chakras in your body. As you breathe it in through your crown down into your heart, it starts to fill all parts of your physical body. So your whole physical body is filling with this purifying, cleansing, healing light. You can feel it strengthening your immune system, calming your emotions, clarifying your mind. So just keep filling with this light. Bring it down through your crown into your heart, and from there you distribute through your whole body. Now feel the light flowing out into the etheric body or the energy body that surrounds your physical body. Purifying, cleansing, healing. Now I want you to imagine that that light now is flowing out to fill your home, touching the hearts and minds of anyone who shares this home with you. Living beings, plants, animals, people. Now continue to fill with light down through your crown into your heart, out through your energy field. I want you to fill your whole street with light, touching the hearts and minds of all who are open to this energy, lifting their vibration. Now allow this light to flow out into your community. All that is required is a pure intention from your heart. And because energy follows thought, so it is. Now I want you to fill your town or city with this light. You are a vessel open to receiving and distributing this beautiful light. I want you to imagine that you are connecting with the light of all those who are doing this group meditation with us, and all those around the world who are involved in group meditations, working with light and love and the power to good. Now I want you to fill this nation with light. Let it touch the hearts and minds of all. Fill this part of the world with light. Let it resonate out to all that need it. Now fill this whole hemisphere of the world with light. And now allow the whole of the world, the whole of our planet and all beings to be touched and filled with this light. And we do this together. Now imagine that you can see our beautiful planet from space, and you can see it surrounded by a beautiful light, our planet's own energy field. And we and the others working in this way are building this energy field, dissolving away the heavy, dark energy of the low vibrations of hate, of greed, of anger, of shame, of guilt. And we are lifting those vibrations up into love and peace, acceptance, forgiveness, joy. See that light that surrounds the planet flowing down into the hearts and minds of all, lifting their vibration, lifting them up into the highest expression of who they are. See groups all over the world working in this way. It's almost like we see beautiful centers of light all over the world connecting. Light workers united And hold in your heart the hope and desire for peace, that people will learn to live with a higher vibration, with love and compassion for their fellow mankind and for all living beings. Now see our planet healing. See the balance restored in nature. See the clean, fresh air and the pure, clear waters. See the healthy, protective ozone layer. See the animal life returning and the plant life flourishing. See man in beautiful, right relations with each other and with the animal and plant and mineral kingdoms, and forming a beautiful relationship with our home, our planet. See this lift in vibration bringing peace, goodwill, and right relations between all of mankind. Lifting our collective awareness, our collective consciousness, so that we can learn to live in peace and harmony with all, to move through these times of change and birth a new way of living. Hold this energy and let it continue to radiate out. And now I invite you to just gently open your eyes, and you'll find on your screen the words of the Great Invocation, which is a world prayer said by thousands and thousands of people all around the world every day, invoking the energies of light, love, and the will to good, goodwill, bringing them down to work their magic and transforming all of mankind. So say the invocation with conviction. Say it like you mean it. Say it like it matters to you. You can either repeat it out loud or quietly to yourself, or just listen to me repeating it in your heart. We'll pause between each stanza just to visualize the words acting out. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Ooh. Namaste. What I'd like to do now, it's just a couple of minutes to 8 o'clock, is pause the recording and we'll go and clap our support for the really hard-working NHS carers. Then we'll come back in a few minutes, grab yourself a cup of tea if you want one, and there'll be an opportunity to make comments, ask questions, discuss anything that sort of came up in response to the talk. So I will see you soon. Welcome back. Someone in the street next door was playing really loudly, "You'll Never Walk Alone," and people were singing. It was so nice. So the support is still there. We're seeing the best in the British people. Yeah, I love it. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put us onto grid view so I can see you all. Oh, there you are. Lovely. And if you just raise your hand if you would like to speak or you have a question, and you can unmute your microphone and off you go. Or if you want to, you can put a message in the chat. Oh, Paul has had to leave us. Lovely. Okay. So any questions about raising your vibration? Bernie, if you unmute, let me unmute you. Hang on.
Oh yeah, you can hear me now. Yeah. What it was, Teresa, was I just want to ask you a basic question, really. I mean, I really found it interesting what you're talking about, vibration energy. And you gave an excellent talk a few weeks ago about immunity. I was just wondering whether they're one and the same thing or they have a difference between them. That was all, really.
No, your vibrational energy and your immunity are linked. So one of the reasons sometimes that we get ill is when our vibrational energy has dropped, not just moment to moment, day to day, but especially if there's something in our life that's depleting our energy on an ongoing basis. And this is where we're really starting to understand the effects of stress, chronic stress, in lowering people's immunity, and also things like a lot of the things that raise your vibration, you'll notice, are also things that help to boost your immune systems, to boost your immunity. So many foods, for example, are quite therapeutic, both in terms of raising your vibrational energy and in terms of boosting your immune system. So does that help?
Yeah, that's great, and it's very relevant, of course, in that present situation where we need to build up our immunity. That's the only power we've got until we get a vaccine or a drug. And the government, nobody mentions it. Nobody, you know, there's been loads of research on what you've mentioned. Why don't they promote this?
Well, I think increasingly, and what I've been seeing with the emails coming in to my email or on Facebook or is that increasingly people are becoming aware of this. They're starting to realize the power of things like herbal medicine, like some of the naturopathic remedies, things even just like having plants in your house raises the vibration. Do you see what I mean? Having living things, having pets, having animals, any kind of water, you know, it almost comes into feng shui, if you like, in terms of looking at the energy environment in which you are living and creating. But it doesn't, what I probably need to stress, it doesn't matter how many plants and crystals and how much organic food and stuff that you eat, if you are not dealing with the emotional side of your energy, it will deplete. Do you see what I mean? You could do all those things, but if you're still harboring a lot of guilt or shame or anger, or you're living in a conflict environment, or you're not addressing some issues from your sort of subconscious, that will deplete your energy, regardless of all these other things that you're doing, if you like.
That's fascinating, because I live in a peaceful environment with my partner. I'm a herbalist. I take herbs. I've got plants, but the thing I don't do is tidy, and I need to declutter. Because I've got to, so I need to work on that, and you've emphasised that very much.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Teresa.
Well, it's all a balance, isn't it? For example, I think if you get too, if you get too obsessed about it, if you never had junk food, or you never had some chocolate, or you never had the old glass of wine, or do you know what I mean? The effect of not having that kind of joy and that you know, when you're joyful, it raises your vibrational energy. So it's all a balance. Yeah, if you eat junk food all the time, that's going to lower your vibrational energy. But if you treat yourself to something you really love that makes you feel really good, that's going to raise your vibrational energy.
But not too much.
Not too much, yeah. Well, it's like, it's the Buddhist, it's the middle way. I'm a Libra, so, you know, I'm very much about the scales, but it's finding that path.
Yeah, that's very useful. Thank you, Teresa.
No problem. Has anybody else got any comments or questions for me? No? What about that work of David Hawkins?
Yeah, Heather's waving.
Heather's waving. I can't see. Oh, I can't always see everybody on my screen. Heather, if you unmute yourself. Where are you?
Not me too.
Ah. Let me do this. Ah.
Sorry.
Did you?
Hi, Teresa. Sorry. Why did my son always rings and he knows that I do this, and every Thursday I get a call without fail. It's so annoying. I've just declined it. No, I was just going to say thank you so much for that information from David Hawkins, because that's almost like the proof behind what my thoughts have been working as a healer for the past 12 years, that the more you develop spiritually, the higher vibrational energy you channel. And I can only say that from personal practice and the way I've experienced my development over a period of years.
Definitely.
So that provides the evidence, the research, which is brilliant, because then when I'm saying to the students that, you know, well, the more you develop, the more we develop and become a clearer the channel, then the higher vibrational level we'll be able to channel. That's now giving me some evidence and research to,
Yeah,
you know, which is always nice to have, isn't it?
it does. And people, you know, we live in an age where people need the science, and that's why I love this book, The Science of Consciousness.
Yeah, I'll have to get that. I think it looks a bit heavy going, but
I haven't managed to read the whole book.
Yeah.
It's heavy going. It will take you a while.
Yeah, but that's amazing. So thank you so much for that.
And that is right. If you are working as a healer, it really, that the old adage, healer, heal thyself first, because if you're not keeping your channels of energy clear, if a healer or a therapist or anyone working to help another, a teacher, a facilitator, if they're not keeping their own energy clear and doing their own healing, they're not going to bring through the same quality of understanding or healing as they could, and therefore not make as much difference as they could. Yeah, lovely. Is anybody else? Oh, Karen. Right, go.
Hi. Can I ask how the scientists have managed to measure the vibrational output of a person?
Okay, what he did in the study was he had an arbitrary scale. I mean, there's a whole lot of maths in it, but it was a bit beyond me, to be honest. And it was more working out. I've got some figures here about the energy of joy compared to a lower vibrational energy. It was something to the power of, but I guess what I'd say is he worked out an arbitrary scale. So he just said, right, the scale from 0 to 1,000, and then he worked out where these increments were. Based on asking people a whole lot of questions, asking them questions to work out where they were vibrating, looking at their responses, doing the muscle testing to see if they were telling the truth. And it's like more than 20 years research to get this vibration. So the scale is just arbitrary. He's not actually measured their electromagnetic field.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. No, which will come. That sort of research is happening. The trouble is, especially anyone who can see auras and things, people's energy fields shift and change moment by moment, thought by thought. I could show you an image of something really graphical, violent, and your energy will just plummet. I could show you a beautiful image of a sunset or a really loving image on your screen, and your energy would lift. So it's hard to measure energies so objectively, if you like. I mean, we are getting to the point, but the best measure, I mean, we naturally measure people's energy. We sense and pick up people's energy all the time. We have our own inbuilt. It's just science has got to find the tools to measure, which it will.
Yeah, and I always know when I was having a conversation with somebody the other week who said that they don't feel vibrations. And I found that very odd because I feel vibration all the time.
They probably, it might be that I mean, everybody has the capacity to.
Yeah.
I suppose your energy becomes you become more sensitive, definitely. Some people are naturally more sensitive, like someone who's very empathic, if you like, is naturally much more attuned to reading other people's vibrations and energies, especially to do with their emotions, if you like. Someone who's not naturally so empathic wouldn't pick up on that. But definitely as you develop spiritually, you do become more sensitive, and it can be a negative thing in terms of, you know, living your life. It might be, for example, many people, as their vibration lifts, they no longer can handle alcohol. They don't want to drink alcohol anymore. They just have, you know, no real inclination to, or they might become vegetarian, or they might shy away from reading the news. And these things tend to just happen naturally. They get pulled toward things that raise their vibration. They get pulled toward getting together with like-minded people, because they want to mentally work at the same vibration. They want to be inspired and opened mentally. But you're right, some people don't sense vibration quite the same. But if you were to say to them, so if there's been an argument in the room and you walk in, can you feel it? They'd probably say, oh yeah. Can you tell? You know, animals are amazing like this, especially animals that have had a real heart connection with humans. So our domestic pets, say, they pick up on our vibration, and they will often, you know, I mean, you've got your dog there. They sense, this is why they know when we're sad. They know when we're feeling, you know, they know to back away when we're a bit angry. They know how we're feeling. They can read vibrations, especially of the astral, of the heart, of the emotions.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Lovely. Thank you. Is anybody else? See any other hands raised? Oh, Maggie.
I just wanted to check that title of the book with you, Teresa. Is it Power versus Force?
Power versus Force.
Right.
David R. Hawkins.
Yes, thank you.
See, it's hard to see the white bit. You can, I think this is, you can get an audio, a DVD version. This is copyright. So this was first put out in 95, and then it's been redone in 2012.
Right.
I mean, if you read it, it gets into all sorts, not just the levels, but it goes into, you know, force versus power in the arts and politics, and it's quite fascinating. But it's quite a lot of it is quite higher mind, quite cerebral.
Yes, it sounds it.
It's not. Thank you. Not, yeah, it might not be bedtime reading.
Thank you, Teresa.
Anybody else? Anybody else come across any other really good books? Or Michael, yeah.
Linda's got a hand up.
Oh, after Michael, Linda.
I was going to say that basically we are electromagnetic creatures, and so our heart and our brain operate with electricity. And so everything has a frequency. Every emotion has a frequency. Every thought has a frequency.
Yep.
The human body and mind is basically a symphony of frequencies.
Yes.
And part of the task is to kind of control that music and actually to make something harmonious out of it.
Yes.
So what I was going to say was to help people understand the concept. If you hunt around on YouTube, there's things like tones. So tonal frequencies, like say 432 hertz, whereby it's just a tone, but basically you can meditate to it, and it will give you something to follow.
Yeah.
For those people wanting to kind of raise the vibration, making use of these tones on YouTube, you would actually find it very useful.
Yes, you can get whole, you know, you can get whole channels that play beautiful music and sounds that you can have on in the background on your computer. Yeah. Like some of them are at frequencies that improve your concentration. You can get them that frequencies that help you to sleep or help to take you into higher states in meditation. But it is right, we are like tuning forks. We are vibrating at a certain frequency, and this is why, you know, things like singing bowls and anything that vibrations really touches us. It's why music is a universal language, because, you know, a really amazing piece of music, you can feel the vibration, you can feel what it does to your vibration. And if you like, I mean, I remember waking up in the middle of the night years ago and writing a piece of writing that I never did anything with, actually, about how, you know, it takes every person resonating with their soul note to make a symphony that we call mankind, humankind. And this is the most beautiful symphony. It's like this song of the humpback whales. And this symphony requires every single person's vibration. And one day when everybody is resonating with their soul, we will have the most profound music created by mankind. And that, you know, it is written that this is coming. This is where we're heading. Now, Linda, you wanted to...
Unfortunately, I missed the beginning of the talk.
Speak up a bit. Speak up a little bit.
I missed the beginning of the talk, so that maybe you already answered this, but how does an individual know where they are vibrating on that scale?
Oh, okay. So on the scale, it's what your predominant way of interacting with the world is. Okay, so what I would say is, if you're reading your own vibrational energy, if you are feeling love, you are vibrating at quite a high level. If you are not feeling love, if you are feeling fear, doubt, anxiety, I mean, shame is given as the lowest vibration. And it's interesting that many counselors and many of our behaviors, behavioral therapists and stuff, recognize that some of the most damaged people in the world are those who have had experiences of deep shame, because it is an emotion that we avoid at all costs. We will avoid shame. We would rather have guilt. We'd rather have anger than shame. So we will often lift up into anger and hatred because we don't want to go near shame. Shame is the one we don't want to talk about. We don't want to go there. We don't like shame. Probably one of the most damaging, which is why it's right down there at the bottom. But if you wanted to put yourself on the scale, I suppose it's difficult. I would say, you know, look at your responses. Look at your, do you live from a place where even if you feel your vibration dropping, if you notice you're getting angry, you're getting critical, you're judgmental in your mind, you pull out of that and you do something about those thoughts? Do you lift up into love and peace every day? Do you consciously lift your vibration when you feel it dropping? Or are you sort of unaware? Most people walking around are not even aware of their vibration. Some of them, it's almost they're reactive to the world rather than choosing how they react to the world. Do you see what I mean? It's unconscious. So the fact that you're even asking the question means you're above the 200. Do you see what I mean? Because otherwise you would be unconscious of this sort of thing. Just start to notice. And it's not a judgment thing, or that person's vibrating down, but, you know, also notice if my vibration drops, what lifts me? Sometimes, you know, if you start dropping into despair, talking to a friend and you back up, and then you lift into hope. Did you notice that courage and hope are right around that pivotal point where you move from the lower vibrations up, so right at the solar plexus up into the heart? So compassion, courage, hope. Courage is the big one, and courage is, it's that feel the fear and do it anyway. It's that, well, yeah, I am feeling fear, yeah, I am anxious, but I'm going to have hope and trust, and I'm going to do what's required anyway. And that's when you're really starting to consciously lift. I mean, there's many practices, but meditation is probably the key one to lift your vibration as a whole. Regular meditation. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Except it just seems to me that at times you'll feel all those different emotions.
It's not whether you feel those emotions. That's not the problem. It's whether you hold those emotions. So if they pass through, or even if you feel them getting a hold and you look at them, okay, where's this coming from? What needs healing? What do I need to shift from the past? What unconsciously? Noticing it. And once you've noticed it, are you staying in that emotion? Are you holding it in your mind? Is it becoming defining? Is it becoming a part of who you are? Or is it just where you are at the moment and it's moving through?
I understand now.
You see the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Oh, Karen.
Can I just add on to that? I always believe that every emotion that you have is a human emotion and should be recognised, but it's then what I choose to do with it. Totally. And I recognise the fact that it's there, but then I, just think, well, yeah, I'm human. I am allowed to feel like that sometimes, but it ain't, I mean, I think that some of you know my mum, and so you probably know that I have Parkinson's disease, and everybody was amazed when I gave them the diagnosis, because my whole way of thinking was, well, it could be a lot worse, and I've had it for a long, long time, but because I choose not to acknowledge it, it's there, and I know it's there, but what I choose to do with it is sort of like say, and I'm absolutely fine.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of it, isn't it? It's not defining you, it's not limiting you, it's part of your growth.
What you do with it, what you do with those emotions, that I think counts towards how you vibrated.
Totally. And have you ever been in a room and somebody has walked into the room and they're like a ray of sunshine? They lift the vibration of everyone in the room, and you go, wow. And you just
say that's me.
Yeah.
No matter where I go, I can make people laugh.
Yeah.
Or people, I have the embarrassing knack of attracting people who want to talk to me.
Yeah.
I walked with a car boot with my mum and had this poor woman sort of like sobbing at the other side of the counter while she was telling me all sorts of things, and my mum just looks at me.
But that's also part of that sensitivity. That person is recognizing that you are an empathic person, and that you will hear them. Yeah. But equally, sometimes someone can walk into the room and it's like, ooh. It's almost, have you ever had that vampire, someone just every bit of joy out of a situation, and everything you say, they just bring a negative spin on it. They just will not shift. They have a very crystallized way of seeing the world that is not open to change. And it can be really hard to be in the energy of somebody like that.
I find that if I, because I used to work with a few people like that, and I used to, in the end, just put my hands over my solar plexus, because otherwise it would just sort of like you said, like a vampire just sucking the joy out of life.
Yes.
And it used to take quite a bit of meditating afterwards to get it back to where it should be.
Yeah, and you've got to, you know, there's no judgment. People are where they are, and they're dealing, often we don't know what they're dealing with, and you know, they are doing their, I always believe people are doing their best at that moment in time. And I think if you have that belief, that helps to lift us up into compassion, because we don't know what it's like to walk in somebody else's shoes. We don't know exactly what's going on. And, you know, all we can do is lift our energy. And that's the other thing. Sometimes if you have someone who's very negative, or someone who you find is draining your energy, just sit there and send them love. Try this one day. If you go, just sit there, don't say anything, don't try and change their mind, don't try and do anything. Even if they're sitting there and they're just totally overwhelmed with anger, just send them love. And you will just see it just melting. Gradually, send them love.
I've worked in child protection for many, many years, you know, and I've sat across from people who, I'm going to kill you if I see you on the street outside. But it's not judging. It's just thinking, you know, it's really sad that they've come into this position. How did they get there? And sending a little bit of compassion, because people aren't born necessarily to be in the positions that they're in. And who knows, it could have been me. I was just lucky.
Exactly. And that's why we lift into compassion. And as soon as we lift up into compassion, into understanding, into you know, those higher vibrations, what we're doing is we naturally lift that person, and they can't do anything about that. They will just naturally lift. So in a way, trying to change a person's mind is a really inefficient way of helping them.
Okay, come on now.
Really, the thing to help a person is...
Oh, no, I'm awfully sorry, I have to go. I'm sorry. Bye now.
See you, Bernie. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I think what we'll do is we'll bring it to a close there. What we're going to do next week is probably the most important spiritual day of the year. It's Wesak. And Ted is going to do a bit of a talk for me, and I'm going to do a little bit of talking. And basically, Ted and I are going to do it together. So that will be fun. It's also probably the most important day to come together in group meditation, the day that we have the opportunity to do the most good for the whole year. So please, if you can, next week, Wesak's important. So stick it in your diary, and I'll look forward to seeing you. Otherwise, have a lovely evening, and thank you for all your input. Really good questions and comments. It really makes it. Namaste.
Namaste.